Anybody that's sending their kids to Camp Kanakuk, you need to read this.
I remember when he was 21, Pete Newman was arrested. So I would have been 24. Pete Newman was arrested and ultimately sentenced to 3 life terms.
Arrested for what?
7 felony counts of child sexual abuse.
7 felony counts of child sexual abuse at Camp Kanakuk.
Yeah. And I balk at Camp Kanakuk because these boys were abused all over the place.
Okay.
So it wasn't just at camp. It was in their own homes sometimes. It was on mission trips to China where he would film them getting massages. So we're talking child sexual abuse material being created. That never got investigated. It was investigated by the Taney County Sheriff's Department. And they never looked into Pete Newman's devices for CSAM. When we have witnesses who were on those trips saying we saw Pete Newman filming these boys getting massages and having the massage therapists activate their groin areas so he could film it. So they were abused all over the place. There were trips to Haiti, in the name of Kanakuk International mission trips. There were, Trinidad and Tobago, all over the world. And so where was I with that? I didn't really know the extent of what happened to my brother so he was not doing well. And then he decided to pursue civil litigation against Kanakuk. After the criminal case closed, he was named as a victim. Right when Pete Newman got arrested, Joe White flew down on his private plane to Dallas and asked for a meeting with my dad and Trey, man to man, leave my mom out of it. He didn't want an angry mom involved. And this was before the story really broke. And he was like, it's going to come out that Pete Newman was abusing boys, but it was really just boys being boys, typical middle school masturbation and experimentation, minimized it, downplayed it, with my brother Trey right there, basically saying, here's the story and you're sticking to it. It wasn't a big deal.
Shit. Now, do you think this guy knew that your brother was abused?
Yeah, because he was on a list. Pete Newman provided a list of victims.
So this is after he was arrested.
This was, so the exact chronology is March 2009, he confesses to Kanakuk leadership that he's been abusing boys.
What year? What year?
2009. March 2009. And he'd been caught multiple times before, skinny dipping, riding four-wheelers nude with boys.
Go ahead.
I know. They caught him in 1999, in 2001, in 2003, in 2006.
So Jeff White.
Joe White, yeah.
Joe White.
We can call him Jeff.
Whatever. Joe White has the head guy of all these kids riding around four-wheelers naked with them.
Yeah, and it gets reported back to the camp. They knew that stuff was happening. And in one of the depositions,
So they just sweep the shit under the rug and they don't even tell him don't do it again?
They're like, oh, that's just boys being boys.
Boys being boys?
And, well, I can show you what they did to discipline him. I have the record here. But it basically...
Let's see it.
Yeah, we'll pull it out. But real quick, so the four-wheeler thing, the naked basketball, the nude swimming... Joe White was asked in a deposition, you don't think that is child sexual abuse? Pete Newman naked in front of these young boys? And Joe White's response was, well, it depends on how dark it was, if they could see his penis.
People still send their kids to this place?
Exactly. Thousands of people. Yeah.
I'll bet that stops after this releases.
I hope so. Because kids are in danger there. And I think that's why Tim wanted us to talk. This is what they do. A few things going on.
That guy does not care about anything more than saving kids.
Right. And I'll talk more about what we're partnering on together to protect kids. But this is one example of how they disciplined Pete Newman when he was... in those situations with boys. They called it boys being boys. And he actually, there's a document where, here it is. They made him take a test. And then they made him sign a contract to spend more time with his wife, not spend so much time in the hot tub. A lot of the abuse would happen in the hot tubs. And then they sent him to a counselor who gave him this questionnaire.
List 3 reasons why camp counselors sometimes get accused of inappropriate conduct with campers. It's hard to read his handwriting.
Yeah, that's all Pete Newman's handwriting.
Conduct has been inappropriate. Child has past abuse experiences that stimulate fear. They are careless in ministry strategy and uneducated. List 3 good ways to avoid accusations of improper sexual conduct toward a camper. 1. Avoid alone time with kids of opposite sex. Avoid sexual humor, inappropriate jokes. Never have alone sleepovers. List 3 things former President Clinton did wrong regarding his encounter with Monica Lewinsky. Cheated on his wife, lied about it, failed to set the example of what a leader should look like.
Isn't that bizarre? And then flip to the back. Just turn the whole thing over. And on the very back page
What
is
is this?
the next one on the very back page.
Pete Newman. Objective, to help Pete understand what healthy ministry is and to make sure Pete never places himself in a compromising position that his integrity would be in question. We want to ensure that Pete be involved in a lifetime of ministry. Overall boundaries for ministry. All high school ministry ends at 10 p.m. All junior high ministry ends at 9 p.m. Never show up at home unannounced. Never encourage students to disregard other responsibilities to be with you, like school, family, or a job. Failure in these areas will disqualify you from ministry privileges. All contact with kids will be done in public, never in private without parent permission. Exception, picking up the first child and dropping off the last child from an event. You must have parents' permission. Never spend the night alone with a child. Never be involved in sexual humor. Never suggest or be involved with any sexual or nude behavior. Never touch a child in a way that might be perceived as sexual in nature. Always put a stop to inappropriate behavior, i.e., sexual, physical nudity, vulgar speech, inappropriate humor. Failures in these will lead to instant dismissal and complete reporting of the incident. Boundaries on local extra camp ministry. Limited to 3 nights a week, club leadership, small group, 1 weekend a month, 2 small group Bible studies, 1 lunch a week. Summertime boundaries. Regular accountability with Will Cunningham. The amount of time can be determined later. These times might include physical workouts, biblical mentoring, detailed discussions of feelings about ministry, life, Katie, kids, personal worth, etc. No further visits from out-of-state kids, no sleepovers, i.e. events that required Pete to spend the night alone with 1 or more kids, period. Noticeable change in the way Pete budgets his time. Regular time with Katie, that must be his wife. Mm-hmm. Regular time spent with peers as opposed to a lopsided, inordinate amount of time spent with kids. What?
This is how they disciplined him.
And they signed it. He signed it.
And what's the date?
10/22/03.
They knew in 03. What normal person needs a document like that? And they also have these like playbooks, these staff playbooks.
This is...
I know. That's their...
Anybody that's sending their kids to Camp Kanakuk, you need to read this.
Yeah.
They're literally, they have to try to coax their counselors into not having a sleepover alone with your child.
What normal person
Wow.
needs that rebuke?